Is this show now called Cookies for Breakfast? Is that what it's called?
Patrick Creelman, or in my opinion, the leading yoga teacher in Hong Kong and the founding teacher of pure yoga. You've always inspired me as a yoga teacher and as a leader in the community as well.
Well, I moved to Hong Kong in the very beginning, 14 years ago, with the key purpose of opening a studio and teaching yoga here. So it's interesting because of all the places that I've lived and been to, this is the only one that I have ever been to before moving here. And so I see Hong Kong and my life and the life here through the lens of yoga and from the seat of a teacher, and I've never seen it otherwise. It's interesting because having moved here in that role, I found in the first few years I was drawn to people like yourself. Like you and I became friends very soon after I moved here.
Yeah, we met at Life Cafe, right?
Nope, we met at the fabled Bookworm. That was in 2002.
Whoa, okay.
There was nothing in the city for us yogis to do. I mean, there was sort of hangover franchise cafes with food we would never eat, and shopping malls. So the fabled Bookworm was told to me by a bunch of people after we opened the studio, and so I made the long trek to Lama.
Overseas.
That was my first trip to Lama. It was my girlfriend at the time, Paige, and we took a trip to Lama. It was very exciting. First ferry ride, right? And we had to walk down it seemed so adventurous and exciting at the time, going through the little main town and coming around the corner and finding the Bookworm. And it was packed. It was like a Sunday. And came in, sat down, and it was jamming. And there you were with your, afro hair. We both thought, who the hell is that? And I remember you and I kind of locked eyes, and you did the whole who's that?
Welcome to Bookworm Cafe.
Yeah. Leadership is really about expressing your truest and deepest values, and it's a work in progress, as you know. Yeah. I can teach people things, tell them wisdom teachings, or even give them a practice, but much more powerful than that is the way I am as a human. The way I operate in my life becomes the greatest teaching, And so that's been a tall order because it calls into question all of your decisions and choices and actions. Yeah. And it's not always, in line. It's, we kind of go in and out of our own sort of highest aspiring self.
What do you think of the coffee?
Excellent.
We use bonsai, which is an organic, non-GMO soya milk that I've been using since the Bookworm Cafe days. Mm-hmm. So we won't touch any of the soya milk because it behaves like milk. Its froth is up, it's thick, it's got a consistency of milk. And it doesn't really interfere with the flavor of your coffee. We've added raw cacao butter. And that's the secret. By melting raw cacao butter into our espresso coffee and then adding the bonsai.
Okay.
We've come up with this, and for me it's been a change maker. It really deeply saddens me when I see people putting coffee lids on their cup, sitting on the table, taking the coffee lid out, and just putting it there and then drinking their coffee. That coffee lid is plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic is going to be around for 400, 500, 600,
filling the oceans.
Years. Yeah. Is it necessary to have a cup every time you order a coffee?
Right.
Okay, you're running to the office, you're running to catch a taxi, fine, put a lid on it.
You can't,
move to plant plastics.
You go to Italy, coffees are poured in a small cup, as we know, macchiato, and it's porcelain. Even in a takeaway cafe, it's like you do your coffee and then you go. You take a moment to actually drink it. You don't run away with it. So I've always thought lids kind of kill the coffee, but what you're saying is the lids actually kill the earth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Leaving 500 years of damage behind.
Right.
It just doesn't equate. It doesn't make sense. These cups are completely compostable, so they're made from plants, not plastic. So
It's amazing.
plastic is made from oil, right?
It's great because it's like a strong cup.
Who would know?
Yeah. It has like a lot of, there's strength to it. You can hold it.
No
It's even a little bit
difference between
heavier,
this
like
and your average cup that is
Right.
coated in plastic inside,
Right,
so
right.
you can't really recycle it properly. While this, you can just bury it in the soil and completely degrade.
It's amazing. There's so much sort of surface wisdom, on the internet, as an example, that you can have a picture and a quote, a picture of a sunset and a quote of the Buddha or a quote of the Dalai Lama or whomever, and this is taken as a spiritual moment. But it sadly, it's not followed with someone in your daily life standing beside you, showing you what it's like to participate with that wisdom in the mundanity of a daily routine. So people read this and they have an aspiring idea of, I want to live more compassionately or peacefully. But then their lives are in contrast to that. So a leader sticks their neck out because we propose these ideas, and then the charge of leadership is then to do your best to live by that. And that will always come under scrutiny. There'll be moments when the peaceful warrior is pissed off because the coffee's cold, and then someone will claim hypocrisy.
Yes.
Right? The fabled yoga teacher or environmental warrior, I saw he or she was, screaming and yelling at the person who budged in front of them in line. Everyone is human, and there's so many different levels of life. I think real leadership is saying, I believe this to be true, this way of living is better, and I am trying to live this way, and I encourage you to as well.
Yeah.
Without saying, I am this way, you should be like me. Because leadership is like a teacher is not the teaching.
Being a yogi in the ashram,
Yeah.
or being a yogi in the cave in the Himalayas, is
Those
one thing.
weren't those good days, though? In the caves?
Is one thing.
Yes.
But being a yogi or a leader or a warrior down here in Babylon, day in, day out, is a whole other ball game altogether.
And I think that, when we choose to live in a place like Hong Kong or live very much in the material world, which is what I think we're talking about. The idea of Babylon is material, consumer-driven lifestyle.
Yeah.
We have to be willing to, I think there's three main pieces for me. One is we have to have a mentor or a teacher. We can't follow our own mind as the teacher. We can't. I think that we need mentors or peers. When I say teacher, we need someone that we're willing to look to as an inspiration, even if it's only in one part of our life. It doesn't have to be someone who's a perfect being, but someone who has one part of their life inspires us. We have to have healthy and consistent self-reflection. And I think in the bigness of a city like Hong Kong, and the Babylon idea, we're dragged out of self-reflection and constantly invited into external engagement. So therefore, a yoga studio becomes a primary venue for self-reflection. You have to consistently renounce things and give things up. You have to make concessions and sacrifices because our desires are fed in the city.
Yeah.
Desires for accumulation. And I don't feel like our values are born or fulfilled by accruing more. I think that over time, to live a yogic life or to live a spiritual life that we're attempting personally requires a letting go. What's interesting for me right now is how many people feel sort of paralyzed or helpless in the ability to make true change.
Yeah.
Because I think it's now more about the human, the transformation of the human, like you after reading that, than it is about stopping the ecological degradation. Although that is a big part as well, changing the karmic implications of each human's mindset and their motivations for life. If we can change my personal motivations for life from a place that I think much of the world has, which is I need to accrue more money, and I'll do whatever it takes to do that. If we can let go of the grip of that motivation slightly and look at transforming our mind into a place that beholds more clarity, wisdom, and peace, then the external circumstances, such as the environment, will change. If we just look at stop buying plastic water bottles because the ocean's being filled up, you're stuck in this this black and white perspective. We have to, I think, really create inner transformation. Then our behaviors change anyway.
It's a shift or a transformation from a materialism worldview into a holistic worldview, where we see the building block of the universe made out of energy, or spirit, non-material. And this is a transformational insight or a transformational paradigm where us and the universe or us and Mother Nature are interconnected. There is no separation if you look at the world from a holistic, spiritual perspective. Therefore, of course, why would you want to pollute the rivers, the oceans, the waters? Why would you want to pollute the air we breathe?
Right.
Why would you want to contaminate the food we ate?
Right.
You just wouldn't, because you are aware of the interconnectedness between all of humanity and all of creation, and in fact the universe.
Well said.